There we go. I didn't put a title. I thought I hit the button, the proper button for the title. Dude, it is like 60 some odd degrees today. I mean, dude, it was like 30. It was like 30 degrees yesterday. Woo! It's we're here. We've arrived into March properly. Don't you know, right? I don't know if this is a false start because, I mean, last year here in the Northeast, we had a delayed spring. We had like an icy rain. We had a lot of icy rain, kind of like slushy almost, kind of rain. It sucked. We couldn't order any outdoor plants for the store. We spent a couple like at least 2 weeks spending more time in winter mode when we were just about ready to take in plants, right? And you know, that was a lot more severe than a lot of other false springs, right? So, but today, as the weather stands, everything is peachy. Everything is peaches and cream. We are now, I guess they say March 1st is the new year. Personally, I think that they changed. I think if March 1st is the beginning of the year, then March 1st should be happening, you know, in about 16, 17 days from now. Because why would pagans that had a very predominant solar cult follow a solar calendar that didn't start at the beginning of their run on the wheel, if you will, right? Everybody knowing how Aries is the kickoff. What's up, Nicholas? So March 20th, honestly, I think it's March 20th used to be March 1st. That's what I think. I think March 20th used to be March 1st. I find it interesting that that's about 20 days, which is about 20 degrees, which is thus congruent with the idea that tropical astrology is operating off of the stars as they were before the cataclysm knocked us on tilt. So that means that it's technically still February by that rationale. And February may not have existed. So in theory, it might still be January because of Janus. So you have Janus. You would have Janus for January because Janus would be the season. It would be that station of time in between the winter and the spring, the way that the Libra season is in between the winter and the fall. And that all makes perfect sense when you have a two-season system, which our ancestors operated on a 2-season system, right? We didn't have an acknowledgement of the transitional period. So this can throw a lot of people off because we're all conditioned by the way that we track the seasons to know that, oh, these months are supposed to be spring and these months are supposed to be fall, when although those rationales have to be related to the equinoxes, we don't really give an actual rational explanation. We act like some climatologist type of person is looking at those climate patterns, and for the unconscious scientist, that's what they are doing, right? Certain sciences are supposed to be they got their causality wrong, right? They think that some sort of warm front coming in from the sun tilt is that's all that there is to it, and they're just kind of waiting for that point to happen or whatever. But they don't understand what they're actually using that observation for the actual placement to know the time, if that makes any sense, right? And so this is why we have so much damn discrepancy with calendar systems that, it's like, whether you like it or not, unless you are in an agreement about what you call this period of time on the calendar, you're just going to have to go with the period of time on the calendar the rest of the world has taken on. And obviously, because we're all kind of having a certain relationship to each other between things like the north side of the realm versus the south side of the realm. Because we are having these things, we have to know that as long as we are interacting with each other, that it's going to be most effective for communication and thus commerce and all these other good things, that we all agree on the when it is, that we know how many days and what time during that day to meet. And so you're operating with a uniformitarian model in that respect, and that may be one of the only appropriate places for it. Otherwise, nobody is ever going to understand what someone meant. Everybody would always miss an appointment. If I said, meet me on February 17th, just meet me on February 17th, and then I give you all these other details. And if my February 17th is 8 degrees off in sun placement of what I call February 17th, then I'm going to wonder why you're over a week late to the appointment. You thought you were on time? Yeah, I said, no, that wasn't February 8th. That was February 1st. What is wrong with you? Right? This is the kind of argument that you're going to end up having with everybody always, forever, and for all time. And is it helpful to call somebody an idiot? No, it's not helpful at all. It's making sure that you have the same agreement about something so you can cooperate. That's all that it's about. And if your entire identity must be clung to anything else, but other than the time that we agree to cooperate. I mean, like, that's the only thing that you have to agree on, is this is the time I want to cooperate. We agree, this is cooperation time. And then we can have a debate. We can have a fight. But we're going to cooperate in something. Let's cooperate in destroying ourselves. So we see how the game works, eh? So we were marching into 2024. So the other day was New Year's Day, apparently. So March 1st, Happy New Year. Maybe April Fool's is April Fool's because it's supposed to happen in March. And so the original April Fool's was on March 1st. And April didn't have the same meaning to it. But then again, I have to go double check the etymology of the word April. So don't mind me as I speak from ignorance. So anyway. Alright, that's all I really had to say about that. Just be on the lookout. We're getting close to this whole eclipse situation. I remember what all of that felt like. You know, I don't know how my brain was in a very, very odd place, and my impulses were making me speak more foolishly. And for a long time, I thought about that moon, and I was just like, oh yeah, that was because people were telling me that moon was over galactic center, right? That eclipse happened in but then again, I realized later on, it's like, hold on a minute, no, that's not possible, because it was August, it was in Leo. And then I realized, okay, well, all right, so it wasn't aligned with my moon, but it actually was aligned with, in Vedic, Magha Nakshatra, which is where I have my trine conjunction. So that moon still had a hardcore effect on me as it was in Leo. And, you know, my being in Aries, I have an exalted sun, right? So there's a lot of energy for me to take. It's just like people that talk about the Saturn moon matrix just don't know dick about proper astrology. It's pretty plain and simple. They just don't know dick about it. But yeah, no, it's but in Leo, I've got Jupiter, Mars, and my North Node. So yeah, that was a pretty ridiculous event for me. So now that I realize is that, like, you know, my mind was able to kind of subconsciously process what was happening, right? But that was really activating, like, okay, homeboy, like, you're going, you know, you need to really start stepping into your throne. You really need to start claiming your dominion, right? You no more can afford to live in speculative conspiracy occult world. Now you need to get to really nailing it, because you're about to see everything that you were asking to see at the time. And so now I've gone through a tremendous amount of my own personal tribulation, because all of these archetypes work within the mystery of the Christos. So all of that's fine by me. But the mystery of the Christos is a mythos. And so I refuse to function properly under a mythos through the literalization of the Godhead figure of the mythos, which has destroyed much of the value of the mystery and going through it. Through the narrative, the historical narrative of the subtext of the events of, well, I mean, like everything going on, not just the gospel, but then the marriage of those gospel events to this Old Testament concept, which may be more generally Semitic than being a story just about the people of the mythological kingdom of Israel. And all of the implications that mythos has invoked and then married into the gospel mind. As we approach Yastre, and you know, I wonder if people really see, like, they say that Yastre is not a goddess. They say that it was that people that didn't understand the holiday personified this whole thing. Maybe. Maybe it's just an egregore, but let's just say that worst case scenario that Yastre is an egregore. An egregore is not benevolent or malevolent. They're basically daemons, and they can serve in one capacity or the other. Just like there's a certain type of Lucifer that is an invocation, there's a certain type of Jesus that is an invocation, and some of these are egregores. Well, in Jesus' case, they're all egregores. But at any rate, I'll catch you guys later, and as always, be on your toes.